Hi Kev, this is your very own personal introduction to half steps and stamp steps as technical exercises that can be done in isolation or can be part of a tactical exercise class that you can instigate with your fencers. Okay, the first one is just to warm up the feet in half step preparations. For me, this is about keeping balance between your feet, so the center of gravity and the feet have virtually equal measures of pressure underneath. So it's half step forward, half step back, return on guard. So half step forward, half step back. The knees are still bent, so I'm not in a lunge situation, and then I return back to on guard. So it's quite rhythmic, this one. But you're trying to keep the transportation between each feet equal. I'm slightly biasing the front foot towards the heel. So once the fencers have got a good rhythm and coordination is good, the upper body is quite steady, you can speed it up. Okay, so we're going to now move on to half step forward preparations and traveling forward. So half steps are good for either continuing in the same direction as the half step or changing direction. So we're going to do half step forwards, but the transport is towards the forward action. So it's half step forward. Again, the balance is still very even between my feet. Then we're going to continue with a step forward. Now get the discipline of the feet landing in the same time. So it's very classical, but it'll get the rhythm later on with the other footwork combinations that we have. So back to the start, half step forward, step forward. Okay, so if it's finishing there, you can do half step back, step back. So we're going in the direction where the foot starts. So if it's a back foot, we go backwards, front foot, we go forwards. Okay. You can obviously add more steps to the situation. So what I've done there is change the rhythm of it as well. So if I'm adding more steps, I like to go from slow to fast. So the first part of it is very slow and watchful because it is a preparation to potentially do some other stuff. Okay, so that's adding steps to half step combinations. Now we're going to change direction. Okay, so we can start with half step forward, go backwards, half step forward, go forwards. So we're starting with the same leg, but go in different directions. Key to this one is where it has to look very similar. Yeah, so your opponent doesn't know which direction you're going to go. Because the half step is a preparation, also you have to make sure the balance is between the feet, that it's not falling too much on the front or the back in either way. So it's the same with the back one. Okay. So we can add different rhythms. The back step to forward, I've used in the past as a sort of shock tactic. So it's where our opponent we want to try and create a reaction of our opponent. Zilagi uses this where he goes from back to forward to almost stay in place on his own guard line. So hop, hop like this. So two movements, is it two movements forward? But really he's still in place. So he can do like a drop or something. So it's quite sharp, yeah, and it could, if you've got a nervous opponent, it might make them go into a parry. So the whole combination could be this. But it's very risky. Yeah, if you're going backwards or seen to go backwards, you don't have priority. You have to understand that maybe the distance is long, your opponent's a bit nervous, and it's to cause a reaction. So a good combination in terms of back forward is to go back. So this is a good one to make your opponent fall short as a defender in maybe a possible long defense situation. So to put it all together, we've got steps backwards. So these look normal. Then there's a half step backward. So your opponent thinks you're going to do a full step, but then there's this half step forward to cause the reaction. Common reactions are your opponent finishes their attack. So this means the rear leg has to start first to pull out and make full shot. So getting this active defense, but also a moment that you can have control of if we go back with ordinary steps. And when you made somebody fall short, obviously observe the distance. Is it just lunge, or maybe they've just stopped and you need a step forward lunge to complete the footwork. So this requires a lot of core stability and keeping the balance between the feet. All right. Now we're going to add these stamp steps. So stamp steps is where before we probably used it in a balestra situation. But we've already talked about where that might not be quite valuable now. The stamp step now is to generate power, either to go forward fast or go back fast. So we just need to develop the starting point for that. Now, any stamp situation, you've got to keep the feet very close to the ground. So you're not lifting your foot up too high, because this will slow you down. So you're trying to generate the sound and the kinetic feeling in your legs at a very short. So I'm probably just lifting it about 1 centimetre. So you can do stamp step back, stamp step forward. The stamp step, you're definitely even across your feet. So I'm not hitting with the heel or not hitting with the toe on the front. I'm definitely stamping with the complete foot. Okay, so this is where we can generate stamp step on the back, step forward, stamp step forward on the way back. So if you're doing a stamp step on the forward, you can initiate some sort of preparation blade threat as well on the hand. On the back step, you're trying to get the front foot going as quickly as possible. Okay, so once you've established this ability to stamp, okay, going in different directions, it's the same as half steps. You can do stamp step back, stamp step forward, or stamp step back, step forward, or stamp step forward, step back. So it's very similar to half step combinations. The next technical part is how we evolve our step forward lunge from this technique. So this is, rather than doing a balestra using the front foot, the power is actually generated, or the sound is generated from the back foot. This means you're further into the action, you're further into the step forward lunge attack, and the back foot is providing the shock tactic to make your opponent flinch and go into a parry. So we've got to have balance to do that, and the coordination between the front foot. So now it's a technical exercise to get the connection between back stamp and the start of a lunge. So we keep in nice balance between our feet and our core is steady. So the exercise is back stamp, flick foot out. So it's a very short, aggressive stamp. And as soon as that happens, you're flicking that front foot out. So the toe is rising and it slides forward. The leg is fairly either straight or soft. Yeah? But now what we're doing is we're creating, we're loading our back foot to give us the power to do a really powerful, fast lunge using our glutes and quads. The development from this would be the arm extension. Okay, so now we're doing back stamp, flick the front foot out, but the arm extension is there as well. We're in isolation at the moment. We're not going into the lunge because I'm controlling my center of gravity and the balance between my feet. So you're getting used to this, the balance slightly being more on the back leg, but we've committed to the lunge, so we need the power and the speed rather more so than other things. So when the back foot lands, the hand comes out and the front foot kicks out. Once we can coordinate that, this is where we can really go into our full lunge. Okay. So sometimes what mistakes happen on this, people go like this. The hand comes afterwards. So you really have to encourage this. So if they can't quite coordinate hand and front leg, just get the back foot and then get the front leg involved as well. So how can we combine this into an action that's going to help with what we're trying to do on piece, whether it's a long attack with a step forward lunge or whether it's a preparation attack in the middle. So both these things, both the setup of this has been hopefully established in that exercise. So now we're going to go to the step. So we're adding a step now. So this is the step part of a step lunge. So this is this old, we used to do these old-fashioned steps, which are not very useful with long attacks. So if our fences are going, it's not helpful because they're actually stopping and it staggers their smooth attack. But this is the final part of their action. So now it's combined where the front foot goes out. It's like a half step. You land on the heel. The stamp step we've got, and then we can go into our full lunge. So all together. So in the context of our tactics, if we know our opponent's potentially going to do a long attack, so step, step, lunge, we're on our on-guard line. We start with this preparation. Okay, start preparation. And as soon as our back foot lands, we go straight into their attack. So hopefully it's in their preparation attack. So when they start their second, so if they step and then start again, that's the moment to finish this attack. So you're watching throughout the first part of this, you're watching at this part. It's slow and considered. The front foot probably has to start roughly at the same time as your opponent's one. Yeah? But it looks slower, so your opponent might feel, I can go for the simultaneous, or I can go for my attack because they've hesitated. So your student needs to just watch for that second phase, that step, and then start for the next step, and that's when you do this lunge. The power is now pushing from this back leg. The sound is very strong, so the referee sees it from slow to fast. So to the referee, it could potentially look like an attacking preparation. Without video, it's quite hard. But you see slow to fast into somebody's longer attack. So you're setting up, in a way, the conditions for a preparation attack. Now, when your students have got this feeling of this step and then lunge, and now I've just done this direct, because obviously in preparation you want to do things as direct and as fast as possible. But now we can evolve it into a feint. So now we can go step, feint, lunge. So I'll put a blade in my hand to show you where the moment of the feint is. So as I step, my back foot lands, my blade goes into a feint, and now I should be balanced to be able to lunge because I've seen an open line. Okay? So yeah, the moment when both feet have landed, you should be in the balanced position. If you're over balanced, you're going to fall over, your leg won't be able to lunge at all. So this is so important to get totally within the center of gravity and reset. So you can have students set up at lunge distance. Sometimes they react to the feint, sometimes they don't. If they don't react to the feint, you can just reset them, or you can get them just to finish direct. Whatever sort of works in the situation. The reason why you probably get them to reset shows that they've got balance and they're not over anticipating. Because if you see fencers go, you know, start their feint and final action, and the other person hasn't reacted, they're over anticipating. So it's a little bit of a check on whether they're actually watching to see whether their feint has worked or not, and they're reacting accordingly to the conditions. So in a context of tactics now, we can work on the fact that we've done a successful direct attack, and then our opponent's going to change to a feint attack. So you can set combinations of options. So it's so important when you're doing the direct attack. I might have not been perfect in that one. It might have been just staggered, but that they are extending properly when they start their lunge. So there's no holding back of the sword. Okay, so the last sort of sequence, I'm going to do step with stamp, but then I'm going to step back. So it's like your back foot's on hot coal, but it goes back. So again, this is a good one for fall short. And to help the fall short, you can do a little blade preparation when you land the feet. And then you've got the double combination, the option of continuing your attack. Okay, hope that's helped you. I'll see if I can get some more stuff later.